It's an absolutely wild day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Not only do we have two Fortnite secret layers to talk about, but we also have to talk about the Double Masters 2022 false advertising fiasco.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we've got a lot of juiciness to talk about. Not only do we have Fortnite secret layers and the false advertising situation, but we have a behind the scenes amazing story about another secret layer that we're going to tack on at the end. So we're going to start out first of all with the first Fortnite secret layer. I'm going to have up on the screen at this moment the first card from it, which is Crack the Vault. And what you want to bear in mind is that every card we're going to look at from this first secret layer is a reskin. And how reskins work is they are functionally the card that is under the name of the card. So this card is named Crack the Vault, but functionally, in terms of Magic rules, it's actually considered to be Grim Tutor. So when building your deck, you can only use 4 copies in total of this card. You could use 2 copies of the original Grim Tutor and 2 copies of Crack the Vault, 4 of Crack the Vault, and none of the original, but you can't go 4 of each, all right? Now, Crack the Vault is 2 black and 1 for a sorcery that says search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle, you lose 3 life. So this is a half decently strong tutor in the fact that it puts a card straight into your hand for 3 mana, but you do have the 2 black in the casting cost, plus the fact that you lose 3 life to balance it out. In terms of the flavor of the card, it's a very straightforward concept. You can literally see that a vault is being broken into here. You've got a terminal out front that I assume has been hacked to open it up to get inside whatever is in the vault, and the flavor text says, you see a lock, I see an invitation. So in terms of overall card design, makes perfect sense. You're literally getting something from the vault. The life loss could represent the danger in getting something from the vault, so it works from a flavor perspective. The next card we're going to look at is the Cube. This is a 6 casting cost artifact that is actually the planar bridge. So it looks like Tezzeret has melded with the Cube, all right? So what does this do? 8 and tap it, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. I've always loved Planar Bridge because it feels like a souped up Planar Portal. Planar Portals just let you search through your deck for a card and put it into your hand and costs 12 mana to do in total. This costs 2 mana more. You got to pay 14 in total to put out and tap it, but you get any permanent and put it straight out. It really does feel like a super powerful artifact. Now, I don't know the world of Fortnite. I've never played it, so I don't know what the cube is in the game, but I assume it is some powerful artifact that can generate objects or other things. Let me know if you know in the comments, because Fortnite is not my bag. The flavor text says its power levels are off the chart, so I assume it's some super strong item in the game. After that, we've got Shrinking Storm. This is 2 white and 2 for a reskinned Wrath of God. It says, destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. Now this was the hallmark of board wipes back in the day, right? You had Wrath of God, and it just said, everybody out of the pool. And it turns off regeneration too, which is kind of wild because Wizards doesn't use regeneration anymore, but we're still seeing reprints that mention regeneration. So you have players go, wait, what even is regeneration? But either way, this is mega board wipe that says you ain't gonna be able to survive it, although indestructibility will let you weather the storm, so it is funny in that regard. Now, Shrinking Storm is supposedly in the game this storm that kind of like pulls in and brings all the players closer together in the map. So as far as I understand from gameplay, from what I've been told, this is a way where when you've got a bunch of people on a map, you want to get them closer together so that the round will keep progressing so people aren't hiding off in different corners. The storm kind of pulls them together. I could be completely wrong about that, right? That's just what I heard from somebody. But I really like the artwork on this from the perspective of you've got this crazy swirling storm that's all dark and deep purple, right? And then in the middle of it, you've got this calm sky. And it feels like the kind of whirlpool that you would see out in like an ocean or a lake, something like that. But it's up in the sky in reverse, and the center of it looks very calm and peaceful. I dig that. And the landscape below looks half decently inviting. It is a colorful card, and a decent choice for reprints. The flavor text seems to like tie into the whole idea of watch the skies, look up at the skies, something's going on. Moving on to the next card. Here's where we move into super ridiculous territory. This is Dance Battle, okay? Now, Dance Battle is originally Dance of Many. So, Dance Battle is 2 blue for an enchantment that says, whenever it enters the battlefield, create a token that's a copy of target non-token creature. When Dance Battle leaves the battlefield, exile the token. When the token leaves the battlefield, sacrifice Dance Battle, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Dance Battle unless you pay 2 blue. So, you may have noticed already, looking at the Dance of Many card here, or the Dance Battle as it were, this is a very strange card in the way that it's worded. It will make a copy of a creature, but if you lose the enchantment, you lose the creature. If you lose the creature, you lose the enchantment. So it's a very clunky way of creating a clone effect that is an enchantment instead. Nowadays, we get much smoother variations of these cards, but it is funny to me that the original Dance of Many was a bunch of slugs dancing around with goofy wings, and my brain always went, now how on earth does this dance of slugs turn into like a big dragon or a goat or whatever else? And this card really recaptures that spirit, because my brain goes, how does this little pink dancing techno bear thing how do you make a copy of somebody that way with this dance party? Like, on one hand, this is mega goofy for a Magic card, right? But on the other hand, the original Dance of Many was also really goofy. Now, for me, this moves outside the normal realm of Magic the Gathering. I like Swords and Sorcery styles cards. This is super goofy, but at the same time, the idea of putting this out and messing with people is absolutely hilarious. Not only do you have this bizarre pink bear in the middle, but you've got Skeletor in the back and he's jamming out. You've got Robot Head in the back. You've got some weird goldfish guy who's got a toque on. Like, this is absolutely bizarre. This is like the perspective of you're trapped in a Stomp the Yard Step Up. You know what I'm talking about? Those old dance battle movies that they used to make? It's got that kind of a vibe. It's just ridiculous and hilarious. I imagine this is hitting the exact right notes for the Fortnite players as well. So, moving on to the next card. This is actually going to be the one I have the biggest issue with. Supply Llama. So Supply Llama is 1 blue and 1 for Ethereum Sculptor, who's a 1/2 Vidalcan Artificer that says artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And the flavor text says, don't worry, they want you to smash them. So on one hand, first of all, this is a pretty underpowered card to be including in a secret lair, and it feels to me like Wizards just went, you know what, we're pushing these Fortnite secret lairs on kids, they're not going to know that much about Magic, we don't need to put too many amazing cards in there, so let's just throw Ethereum Sculptor in there. But my real issue is that it's really jarring with the flavor, right? Supply Llama clearly, when you look at the flavor text, it says, don't worry, they want you to smash them. You look at the artwork, the llama looks like a piñata, right? It's got that kind of papery vibe. It's blowing apart and all kinds of items are flying out of it. You can see like potions and scroll racks and a bag and like a med kit and a full-on girder as well. So he's just full of stuff. And your brain obviously goes, there are a million cards in Magic that let you sacrifice for a benefit, sacrifice to gain life, sacrifice to draw a card, whatever it is. And like there's a bunch of cards that are on the same power level as Ethereum Sculptor that they could include. So for me, this feels like a very jarring departure flavor-wise, and I never thought I would be criticizing the flavor of Fortnite Magic cards as the Magic historian, but life comes at you fast, friends. You never know where you're gonna be. It's like a big old battle royale. See what I did there? I just used the name of the card to do a really slick segue. All right, Battle Royale. 2 green and 2 for Triumph of the Hordes. A card that was originally an uncommon and now has risen up the ranks because of what it does. Infect is really what's made this card into a big deal. So, it's a sorcery that costs 4. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1, trample, and infect. So infect lets you replace normal damage with poison damage, so you only have to do 10 damage to your opponent to win. So, giving all you guys that ability plus giving them trample is a great way to do an alpha smash and crush your opponent. And it's kind of funny to me, I have to admit that for me, Fortnite obviously is a big departure from what I'm used to, but at the same time, this guy has a rocket launcher in the artwork, and when I started playing Magic, there was a rocket launcher in the game. They both felt weird and jarring, but it's interesting to kind of come full circle. In terms of the flavor of the card, it's bang on, right? Look at the text. It says, don't know how I got here, but I'll be the last one standing. And everyone's running around, leaping through the air with axes and bows, and there's a banana man with a Hylian shield. It looks like that banana man with the Link shield has my attention. But what's really funny to me is I attribute the flavor text to the guy in the front going, don't know how I got here, but I'll be the last one standing. I highly doubt it, dude. You have one bullet, and you're facing away from literally everybody. So it seems to me you're about to get hosed hard. Moving on, we've got the battle bus, and that was originally Smuggler's Copter. And I always thought Smuggler's Copter felt very jarring for Magic the Gathering. Helicopters in Magic feels weird. This bus that is kind of being lifted up by a hot air balloon actually feels less jarring to me than a helicopter does in some ways. The fact that it is a modern bus is still jarring, but it's less jarring than a helicopter. So, it's 2 mana to put out. It's a 3/3 flyer. Whenever Battle Bus attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Crew 1. So you'll notice it says Battle Bus right in the text, but remember, it does legitimately count as a Smuggler's Copter in the rules. So you take a look at the artwork. I've seen some clips of Fortnite, and as far as I understand, you start each level by leaping out of this air balloon bus to kind of dive down to the board. And I have to admit, that is fun and goofy. I am pretty childlike in some ways, so some of this does genuinely seem fun. And the flavor text saying, don't forget to thank the bus drivers. Like, thanks for driving me out here, bro. I don't even know how you move this thing around. So that's fun. And Smuggler's Copter is a decently powerful card too for the effect as well. So in terms of that, it's not too shabby. Now, we don't get to see the secret bonus cards from these layers yet. They're holding on to them. So we're going to move straight into the next secret layer, which is the Fortnite times landmark secret layer, right? It's a location style setup. So it is just 5 basic lands. The first one we're looking at is the forest. It's got a nice foresty vibe to it. You got that little wooden fence, not little wooden fence, I should say, that little wooden sign slapped up there on the rocks. I'm sure this looks familiar to people who've played the game, but for me, it works as forest artwork. After that, we've got the island. This is probably my favorite of all of these Fortnite lands. The idea of this rock that's been carved into a giant shark mouth, like this could easily work as genuine Magic the Gathering, not in Fortnite artwork, right? A little island where either a mountain was carved down or a giant piece of rock was brought and you carved it into this big shark and then there's this waterfall at the edge. Like, this is a really cool location, man. After that, we've got the mountain. This is the one that absolutely looks the most to me like you could just shove it into Magic and nobody would even notice, right? It just looks like a keep on a forbidden mountaintop that is in these snowy kind of lands, might be dangerous to make it to, but you could tell me that this was a keep over in Kamigawa. Like, this was located in Sakenzen, and I would buy it because it has that vibe, right? This is nice artwork, genuinely. After that, we've got the plains, another really fun piece of artwork. This one gives me Lorwyn vibes. It's got an idyllic farm. You've got the nice bright colors, right? That barn is nice and bright. You got the bright blues, you got the greens, the reds. It's looking great. The sky actually looks like it has a little bit of the ring, like it's starting that swirling sky. And you've got a very distinctive scarecrow that looks like a super beef boy who's waving his fist at the sky. I will destroy you, crows! Like, dude, if you didn't have the tractor in this artwork, legit just another piece of artwork that would harmoniously merge into the regular world of Magic the Gathering. So that's pretty sweet, man. And then we've got the swamp. And this one doesn't really feel that much like a swamp, really. I guess the waterways with the murk are supposed to be the swampy nature, and that, like, skeleton in the background of some big beast is also supposed to try and convey that, but ultimately it doesn't really feel too swampy, but it does look pretty solid. So those are the 2 secret layers that Wizards is releasing. Like I said, we have not been given the bonus cards, so we'll cover that in the future. The next thing I want to talk about is the Double Masters false advertising scenario. So this requires another image up on the screen. You are going to see a post made by Wizards of the Coast back in June. And it says, get double the shiny and double the strong with 2 borderless rares and or mythic cards in every pack. Now there's a big problem because when you look at the image, you can see that that is not a collector's box. That is definitely a draft booster box. So what they're actually saying in their advertisement is impossible. You are not going to get 2 borderless rares and or mythic cards in every draft booster pack. In fact, you will be lucky if you get 2 borderless uncommon bounce lands in a regular draft pack. So this is straight up incorrect advertising, false advertising, right? This is not an accurate statement. And this is not the first time Wizards has done this with a Double Masters product. With the previous Double Masters product, they had such a fiasco, they literally had to send product out as compensation because they had it posted everywhere. They basically said on the Twitter stream, you can get 2 borderless mythics in our boxes, in these kits, all these sort of things, when you literally couldn't. And it was printed on the packaging as well. So what Wizards of the Coast did was they had a setup where if you mailed in the UPC code from that, they would send you a pack of Double Masters as a sorry for the screw up. And they would send you one for every single VIP pack that you purchased because the VIP packs were where the false advertising was. Now, I don't know full on how this works in terms of laws in different countries. I believe that this advertisement was released in the European part of the world in mid-June, right? So Wizards did update and correct it since this has been located. In the last 24 hours, it has been changed to accurately reflect what's going on. And this isn't a situation where it's actually printed directly on the product like it was with the previous Double Masters. I have to admit that it's funny, like, yo, we're bringing Double Masters back. It's going to be even better than the last Double Masters. We're going to do every single thing we did with the last Double Masters, right down to false advertising. And it's like, oh, guys, come on, come on. But I think with this one, probably what's going to happen is the product hasn't been fully released. These are just sort of like, oh, maybe we made a mistake in our print online style error. So I imagine that Wizards isn't going to do anything in terms of compensation. And I don't believe there's going to be any sort of like follow up. I don't know how strict rules are in terms of like the UK and everything else and their advertising and what you can get away with. But this to me isn't on the same level as the previous Double Masters. It's more just like, guys, seriously, how did you let this happen? How did you let this be up for like a month when you had this problem with the last Double Masters where every VIP pack could cost you an individual pack? Like if you think about the cost they spent mailing out booster packs to all these different people, there were people who collected up tons of these VIP packs and sent them in for dozens and dozens of boosters. Like Wizards took a bath on this. So you figure they would be all over making sure, yo, don't do this again. But this company doesn't have all its ducks in a row. Let me give you a great example of that. Moving on from the false advertising thing. Wizards of the Coast, if you guys know the old 80s synthwave secret lair that was recently announced, well, that was actually created originally by a proxy artist, somebody who doesn't make Magic the Gathering cards, okay? So he makes his own Magic cards, proxies or whatever. Wizards of the Coast goes, yo, you got what it takes. We're going to bring you on board and we're actually going to do a full secret lair with you, which is incredible. Imagine that, dude. You are like a proxy artist. You're so into Magic. And one day you get contacted by Wizards of the Coast going, we want to bring you on board. But here's the thing. You have to know how they contacted him. It's absolutely amazing. They messaged him through Twitter and the message came from an account that I can't imagine anybody would ever respond to. When you look at it, you go, oh, this is fake. This can't be real. But it was actually legitimately, genuinely Wizards of the Coast reaching out with like an empty, looks like a troll Twitter account. This huge billion-dollar corporation reached out to somebody to make them an official Magic artist with an account that just says Tom, and it looks like somebody who, if you accept their request, is just gonna hassle you all day for pictures of your feet or something. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't come across as legit at all. But this guy went ahead and messaged him. It turned out to be Wizards of the Coast, and he now has a full-on secret lair. And the entire incredible story of a man who was a proxy artist becoming a full-on Magic artist is actually covered in a video with excellent production value over on MTG Ninja's channel. So, link up on the screen. Go check out the story. It's awesome. Big shout out to my patrons. Thanks for coming by, my friends. See you next time. Go watch that video right now.